Webinar, Boost AEC and Manufacturing Team Performance with On-Demand Learning and Collaboration Tools. This webinar is brought to you by GRAITEC. My name is Misty Scott and I am pleased to be your moderator today. As a reminder, you can find a schedule of upcoming events, webinars, and training on our calendar at asti.com/calendar. So really quickly, before we jump in, I wanted to give you an introduction about what Pinnacle Series is. It's GRAITEC's online e-learning platform designed to provide expert on-demand training, videos, documents, and customized learning paths for AEC and manufacturing professionals. It covers key software like Revit, AutoCAD, and BIM 360 to enhance workflow efficiency and skills development. I will drop a link in the chat for you guys to learn more. In the next slide, there's also a QR code that you can scan to learn more. While you're here, if you could take a moment to answer the poll questions on the right-hand side of your screen, it would help us learn how we can best serve you. But we'd also like to invite you to take advantage of our free demo of the Pinnacle Series and learn more about our custom training classes. You can scan the QR codes on the screen, but again, I'm going to put those in the chat and put them back up on the screen during our Q&A. If you think of any questions during the presentation, you can throw them in the chat and we will visit them at the end. I'm very pleased to introduce our expert today. Dolly Burke is a customer success manager at Eagle Point Software who brings a wealth of expertise in training initiative and strategic guidance. She has a passion for helping clients maximize the value of their Pinnacle Series programs. And Dolly is here to share insights on optimizing learning and achieving organizational goals. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dolly, and I'm going to turn it on over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Misty, for that introduction. Now, sorry, is the screen going to go just transfer over? Perfect. Thank you very much. So before we jump into kind of the demonstration of the Pinnacle Series, I do want to give you a brief introduction, a little bit more about our company, Eagle Point Software, who we are, what we do. Like Misty said, I am a customer success manager at Eagle Point. I've been with the company for almost 5 years now at this point. I work with our clients, getting understanding of what their learning initiatives are and how we can best align the platform for what they need. As a company, Eagle Point Software has been around for just over 40 years. We are a company of architects, engineers, construction managers, customer success managers such as myself, and developers. We create our platform in-house and we create our content in-house as well. All right, you can see that we have been in the business for quite some time. We have almost now at this point 700,000 users globally across the world, and we have partnerships as well. So some of that being obviously GRAITEC here, and then our Autodesk partnership here as well. Now, before I kind of jump into the platform and start showing you around, I really want to give you an understanding of why we created the Pinnacle Series, right? And Misty did a good job of kind of explaining, what the Pinnacle Series is. It's an e-learning solution, but it's really more than that as well. We set out to create this platform all those years ago to help solve these 3 common challenges that many organizations face. I have these challenges laid out here on this slide. Just going to spend a few minutes explaining these challenges, and then we'll use them to kind of guide us through the overview this afternoon. So the first challenge, this concept of continuous learning, covers a few different challenge areas, whether it's onboarding your new employees and bringing them up to speed. You need to be able to give the new employees the training they need to complete their day-to-day work. Or maybe for your existing employees, you want to provide training as an opportunity for them to fill a knowledge gap or maybe learn a new technology. Also, with the technologies that are being used, we know that new versions are always being released and users just really need a way to maintain their knowledge level. Well, Pinnacle Series comes loaded with a wide variety of training courses. The platform provides on-demand training for users when they need it, but also when they have the time to do it. The next challenge is knowledge capturing and sharing. For many organizations, it can be a challenge to capture knowledge, or think of it as your company standards, your processes, your best practices, and then be able to share that knowledge to all of your users. Having all this information not only documented, but also consistently updated and easily accessible can be a challenge. with Pinnacle Series, you can easily upload any custom materials to the platform. You have unlimited cloud storage to add as many documents, videos, any sort of training materials that your organization needs. All of this information then becomes searchable on the platform, and any of the materials you add can be incorporated into the learning that's being assigned out to your users. All right, so having all this information in one place makes it easier for employees to find what they need and stay productive, which brings us to that last challenge of increasing productivity. So if we look at the way that users are currently using Pinnacle Series today, I would say about half of our users are logging in for the structured on-demand e-learning materials. The other half of users, might be working on a project. Maybe they have a question and they're logging into Pinnacle Series to find an answer to that question or get some guidance. People need answers to their questions, and they need to be able to find those answers quickly in order to stay productive. So Pinnacle Series really starts with the learning materials, but then also becomes the central location to share all of your tips and tricks, best practices, company standards, all in one location so everyone knows where to go and makes it easily accessible as well. All right. Once again, that's just a little bit of an introduction as to why we created the Pinnacle Series. Just want to note, as I'm going through this, if you have questions, please feel free to put those questions into the chat so that we can make sure we get all your questions answered here at the end. All right, let me go ahead and jump into Pinnacle Series here now. Just a few things before we begin. First of all, Pinnacle Series is a browser-based solution, so making it very easy for users to access the platform regardless of where they are working. As far as the overall look and feel of the platform, we do allow our clients to customize their tenant, so any of the images, the colors, the logos, the fonts can all be personalized, so that way when your users log in, they can recognize it as being a trusted resource of information for your organization. Now, when a user logs in, what the user sees on their home screen will be personalized to that user. So depending on what assignments they currently have will drive what they see here in this top section. So as they complete the materials, it'll kind of drop off their homepage. In the library area, the user will see any of the content libraries that have been shared with them, and they can easily access the materials right from their homepage. Now, if a user is logging in to access some content, maybe they want to self-enroll, maybe they have a question, there's a few different ways that users can get into the materials. They can do a search up top. Otherwise, they can use the left-hand menu here to browse to the library section of the platform. In this library area, this is where all the content on the platform is organized into essentially product libraries. So as part of the Pinnacle Series subscription, your users will have access to what we'll call out-of-the-box subscription libraries. So meaning our team here at Eagle Point Software are maintaining the content within these libraries as part of the subscription. So as an example, as Autodesk makes updates to their technologies, we're going to update the content within these libraries here for you. Now I am scrolling slowly through all the out-of-the-box libraries that we have available. The few things I want to note here, I'm in my demo tenant right now. I obviously have everything turned on because I want to show you all the content that we have available. Going forward, you can hide from visibility anything that does not apply to your users. It's very rare that organizations use all these different product libraries, but you do have the option, just so you know, to hide libraries that do not apply. All right, so if I wanted to, let's say I'm a user logged in, I'm looking for a technology that I use, I can browse, I can also search up top to find what I need. So if I just want to jump into, I'll use AutoCAD here as an example, jump into a library, it's going to open up to our library landing page for AutoCAD 2025. These libraries are full of 4 different types of content. So the types of materials that we provide on the platform are learning paths, which is exactly what you hear of when you or what you think of when you hear e-learning platforms. These are the on-demand courses that are going to guide the user through that structured curriculum. But then we also have some more productivity tools. So we have quick documents, short videos, workflows, and we'll take some time to kind of look through these different asset types throughout this presentation here. But when you're in a library, you have the option to use the filters on the right-hand side to narrow down by content type. Some keywords are available here as well. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and search within the library to narrow down your search results. All right, so users can browse to find what they need, whether it's videos, documents, learning paths, or anything else that they might need. The other half of these libraries are also the custom content libraries that you can create on the platform. So when I was introducing Pinnacle Series and the idea of knowledge capturing and sharing, you also have the ability to incorporate as many custom materials as you would like into the platform as well, and can create your custom libraries alongside our subscription libraries here. So I have some examples that I've created. One of the most common ways that I see Pinnacle Series being used is for onboarding processes. So I put together here kind of an example onboarding learning or library, where I've pulled together some resources that are relevant to new users starting with the organization. So this is a way for you to kind of create this central hub of information that users are coming to, whether it's for some of our subscription content or materials that you've added to the platform here as well. All right. Back to the home page here, let's talk a little bit more about learning, because that's obviously a huge component of the Pinnacle Series platform. And there's a few different ways that users can get into the learning. They can self-enroll into learning. So if they're browsing libraries, find something that they're interested, they can self-enroll. Otherwise, a manager and admin can also assign users into learning. Anytime that assignment takes place, the user will see the assignment on their homepage here, and it will stay on this list until they complete all the required materials. You can see that we can set some due dates. This learning path I have here for Bluebeam is obviously past due, so I'm getting a little notification that that's something I need to work on. But let's go ahead and jump into this Civil 3D example I have here. So this is an example of a learning path that comes out of the box with Pinnacle Series. On the left-hand side, we have the outline or the curriculum view of this learning path. So the platform is going to guide the user through the list of materials. So as one video ends, it'll jump to the next item in the list. Learning paths can be made up of videos, documents. Looks like this one has some exercises and includes a quiz at the end as well. All right, obviously it's all on demand, so if the user needs to pause, leave the platform, they can jump back into the training just from their homepage the next time they log in. Now, another opportunity you have with Pinnacle Series to really customize the experience for your users is that we allow you to customize any of our out-of-the-box learning. So let's say this learning path is 90% of how you'd want your users to work through the materials. Well, within the Manage Content area, we give you the ability to copy down this curriculum, so essentially create a duplicate of it. And at that point, you could remove anything that's not necessary. So maybe it's a video going over a feature that's just not utilized by your organization. So you can remove anything that's not necessary, but you could also add any of the custom materials that you've added to the platform. So if you have a video going over setting up a project or documentation on templates that need to be used, those items can be incorporated alongside the out-of-the-box materials, just so you can be sure that users are learning about processes specific to your organization there. Or if you have a series of 5, 6 videos, want to create a custom quiz and have your own standalone learning path, that can also be created in Pinnacle Series and assigned out the same way any of our out-of-the-box learning can be assigned out as well. All right, so that's a little bit about out-of-the-box learning, how we can customize it. But another way that we can provide learning to users is through a process called personalized learning. And to do this, we have an assessment tool built into the platform. The assessment tool is called Knowledge Smart. On my homepage here, you can see I've been assigned an assessment. I have a little trophy icon that is our assessment icon here. So if I go ahead and select the assessment tile, it's going to take me to the assessment page where I can get some information before I can begin. I can see, what's included in this assessment. There's typically some download files. Assessments can be both knowledge-based questions, but also some task-based questions. So asking the user to answer some questions or, follow some steps, open a project file, maybe review an image before they can answer the question. Once I have everything that I need, I can go ahead and begin my assessment. Users simply work through the question navigator. So questions can be true, false, multiple choice, fill in the blank types of questions. All right, once I've completed my assessment, I can go ahead and submit. And back on my home page, I will receive that personalized learning path. So meaning I will only be enrolled in topics that are needed based on how I completed the assessment. All right, so the idea is that users will be enrolled in less training or more focused training, I should say, or targeted training. They're not going to have to spend time retraining on topics that they've shown that they've understood, through the course of the assessment. So I jumped into this personalized learning path here. And it's very similar to the out-of-the-box one that I was just showing you, but just some of the differences. Up top, you can see that I was only enrolled in 15 out of the 20 courses. So typically our fundamentals are pretty long, but by assessing myself up front, I was actually able to skip over 5 of those courses. So I'm probably going to save myself a few hours of training. There is also a show all content toggle. So I can see the individual items that I'm skipping over. You can kind of see how they're grayed out, that trophy icon's appearing. That just means the platform's going to skip right over them. I've answered those questions correctly. I don't need to spend time reviewing. So Knowledge Smart is a great way for you to, identify what are the skills gaps across our organization, but also a great way for you to provide targeted learning to individual users based on their needs. With all this assessment data, you can get an idea of where there might be opportunities for larger training initiatives within your organization there. All right. To go along with all of the learning opportunities on the platform, I do want to kind of jump to the admin side of things for just a moment. Because reporting is always important for a platform such as this. You're investing in some learning opportunities. We want to make sure that users are taking advantage of those opportunities. So I went ahead and pulled some sample reports just to give you an idea of what we can report on. So anytime we talk about learning, so tracking users' progress, how much time it's taking users, what courses were completed, who are our top learners, this is simply just a dashboard view of our reports. Each report has a details link that lets us dive deeper and really start to filter down into the data. So if we wanted a closer look at, what courses were completed in the last 90 days, by how many users, and what was that overall time spent, we can get that breakdown. Kind of going even further, maybe a little more helpful, we can filter down by individual users or groups of users in that raw data field here. So we can get, the learning that was enrolled into, how much of the content was reviewed, if there was a quiz included, what was the score that they received. So a lot of learning data being tracked. This is all available to filter down here. Otherwise, you can also take this into Excel or Power BI. At this point, I always like to mention that we do have an open API. So if there was any sort of other system that you have that might need some of this learning data, that would be an opportunity to integrate as well. All right. Another area of reporting is just on usage of the platform. So, what users are logging in, how often, what resources are being used. So outside of learning, what videos, documents, workflows, maybe you've added a video, a document, and you want to see if it's getting traction, on the platform. You'd be able to see that breakdown in the usage report here as well. All right. And since we talked about the assessment tool, I want to obviously show the assessment reports that we have available. It is a Power BI template that we can go ahead and export all of the assessment data into to help us track those assessment scores as they begin to come in, to help you give an idea of, who are our top users versus who might be some of the users that would benefit from additional training resources. So in this one, we're keeping track of the average score, also by the average time taken to complete the assessment. But the reporting is also going to keep track of the top training tag. So every assessment question has a training tag associated. And so that's how the system knows then what to assign out to the users. But in the reporting, you can see what training tags are showing up most often. So this gives you an idea as someone who might be, in charge of some training opportunities within your organization of where you might want to focus some of your energies as far as the skills gaps across your users there. All right. To kind of switch gears just a little bit, we talked a lot about learning, but that's really just one side of Pinnacle Series. This is also a productivity tool. So let's say your users are through onboarding, through their training, focusing in on project work. They can use Pinnacle Series to find the answers they need or get some help if they get stuck. Kind of like we've already mentioned, users can browse based on the technologies they are using, but they can also just do a search up top. Anytime Pinnacle Series does a search, it's going to look through all of our out-of-the-box content, but also anything that you've added to the platform as well. We'll have our filter options here again to be able to filter down whether it's to a certain technology or maybe a specific version year. We can easily narrow that down. I'm going to go ahead and let's just jump into a video here. Kind of show you how our videos are laid out, just a few things about them here. We can make the screen nice and big. We have a video player, take it to full screen, but we also have video transcripts that go along with all of our videos, which can be helpful for a few different reasons. But if I scroll ahead and find what I need, I can actually click into the transcript and the video will jump to that point in time. All right, so making it very easy to navigate the video and quickly find what I need. Any video that you add to the platform can be auto-transcribed in the platform, and that's going to help users find your materials, because anytime Pinnacle Series does a search, it's going to look at titles, descriptions, but also scan through all that transcriptions to pull the list of results. Across the top here, the user will have a few different icons. One being a share icon, so if I need to quickly copy a link to share in an email, share within Teams, I can share this item. I'll also have a bookmark option, so users can bookmark any of the items that they found helpful on the platform. And what this does is that each individual user has a bookmark section in their left-hand menu here, and this will just give them quick access to those items that they've saved. All right. While we're over here, I'll jump into another asset type that we have available. It is called a workflow. Workflows are a visual guide of a process, a best practice. It's going to walk the user step by step through that process. So this is an example of a process of setting up a project within Revit. So on the left-hand side, I have the outline, the tree view. In the middle here, I have an interactive diagram view. I can zoom in, I can follow along step by step. But when I click in the steps, that's when the details of what I need to be doing or how I can complete the step will appear on the right-hand side. So essentially, users are reading through the text to get information on what they need to be doing. Within the text, there are some helpful links, one being a tool command link. So in this instance, I do have Revit open on my machine. If I select the material browser link, it's going to take me into Revit and open that material browser window for me so that I can complete the step in the process that I'm following along to. So it's kind of difficult to show you when I'm only sharing one monitor here, but you can imagine users having their project open on one screen, following along to a workflow on the other, really ensuring they're following the correct process the first time they work on something, and hopefully eliminate any need for rework down the road. The same way that we spoke about, you being able to copy down learning, the same is true for workflows. You can copy down any of our out-of-the-box workflows so that you can make any modifications. So that's really, truly outlining your process or your best practices. You can swap out links, images, the text to really make it custom to the process that you want users to be following. All right. Another tool that we have available, and while I have Revit open here, is called the Related Learning Topics tool. So this tool will show content, it will show materials available in Pinnacle Series based on the commands, or as you can see, I'm selecting different things here in Revit, based on the commands that are being utilized. So if I'm working on a project, I have a question, well, I can see there is a 5-minute video on door properties. This link will take me directly into Pinnacle Series to review that video. I don't have to go searching for it, and then I can return to my project. All right, so it's a very helpful way to keep materials in front of the users even while they are in project work. Once this is downloaded and activated, it will pop open with the technology. And I should mention this is available in several of the Autodesk technologies. So AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Revit, Plant 3D, Inventor there as well. And once again, I'm only sharing one monitor. This little tool will kind of stay wherever you put it. You can resize it. You could also leave it on your second monitor so it's not directly on top of your project. But I'm just sharing one screen here, so have to keep it over here for now. All right. Another tool, a tool that we've actually added to our platform here in just the last few months is we have added another way for users to search the platform utilizing an AI chatbot. All right, so users can ask their questions to the chat, and the AI chatbot is going to use both materials that we provide on the platform, but also anything that you've added to Pinnacle Series as well to answer the question. All right, so it's going to formulate the answer, and then it's also going to link to the videos, documents, learning paths that it used to answer the question. So if I wanted to get some more information, and I can see this is referencing the second video down here, I can go and watch that entire video, maybe to get all the information that I need. All right, so another helpful tool from here, users can ask an additional question to kind of maybe narrow down. Maybe I want to see something specific to, Civil 3D 2025. I can continue on. Otherwise, I can go ahead and start a new chat. All right. So what I've shown you so far has really been the end user's experience of Pinnacle Series, I guess minus the reports a little bit there. But I want to briefly show you some of the admin sides of the platform. So there is an admin portal option here at the bottom. This is a permission-based option, so only users who have the appropriate or elevated permissions will be able to access this area. But this is going to kind of take us behind the scenes where we can do something such as make assignments. So if I wanted to assign any content or assessments out, I can do so from here. I can also manage existing assignments as far as extending due dates, maybe sending reminders. I can also get high-level reporting as far as I can see the status of this assessment that I assigned out, looks like last week there. So high-level reporting and just management of the assignments going out. Also have options for auto assignments. So if you wanted to every new user that joins the platform, you want to push out an onboarding learning path, that can be set up there as well. This is also where we would add materials to the platform in the content area. So if you wanted to upload any PDF, Word, PowerPoint, Excel files, it's a simple drag and drop to this window here, and then it can be organized into your own custom libraries. When we make libraries, you have the option to add any of your own images. So these are all some custom libraries here as an example. You get to name them whatever you would like and also add the image so it's something recognizable to your organization. As far as setup on the platform, really, we need to get users into the platform, and we can do so a few different ways. We can add them manually. We can import from a spreadsheet. We can also sync with an Active Directory if that's something that is managed on your end. Once we have users on the platform, we can organize them into groups, and groups are going to help us keep users organized on the platform, but also drive those permissions of the platform. So as far as who can see the reporting, who can manage content versus who's just a standard user that needs to consume some content, right? All right. So that's really what I wanted to show you on the platform this afternoon. I'm going to jump back into PowerPoint to talk a little bit more about the subscription model. But I do want to just give you a reminder, if you got some questions, make sure you're getting those into the group chat there. And I will jump back in right here. Okay, to talk a little bit about our subscription. So obviously, the subscription includes access to the platform, which is full of those courses, documents, workflows, videos, live events. One thing I did forget to mention is that Pinnacle Series is available in just over 90 different languages. The user can set their language within their user profile. All right, and that will update any of the written word as well as those video transcripts that I was showing you as well. You'll have access to the reporting on both learning and usage, unlimited cloud storage to add as much materials as you would like into the platform, opportunities to, add your own materials, but also customize any of our out-of-the-box material, and then also the open API, like I mentioned earlier as well. One thing I didn't go into too in depth when we were looking at the libraries, we do have a base package versus there are a few libraries that are considered an add-on. So our base subscription does include everything in the Autodesk libraries and then all the titles you're seeing here on the left-hand side. As far as additional add-on libraries, those being Adobe, Microsoft, we have a business and management skills library, and health and safety. All right. And those are things that we would talk you through during the kind of conversation from here. All right. With that, just a little bit of information. If you are interested in getting more information, maybe another demo, sounds like a trial, please feel free to reach out to your account manager. But at this time, Misty, was there any questions that have come in?
We don't have any yet, so you guys, if you think of anything, throw those in the chat. I do get this question commonly. Yes, you'll receive a recording within 24 hours. If you don't get one, you can reach out to me. I'll put that email in the chat. And if you guys think of any questions after the webinar, you're like, oh, I should have asked this, you can send this to this email as well, and I will get the answers for you. But we also have Danny here. She is our partner manager. So if you guys have any questions, she can answer those as well. But Dolly and Danny, are there any common questions that you usually get when someone starts the Pinnacle series or anything like that?
Yeah, I do a lot of these demonstrations, so I get a lot of the questions over and over again. And one common thing during these demonstrations, people are interested in, what does it take to get this up and running, right? Because I just showed you a platform that has a lot of features, a lot of opportunity, and we don't want you to feel overwhelmed, right? And the answer is, it's not a black and white issue. There's a different timeline, but honestly, all you have to do to get started is get your users in it and we can turn it on. Over time, then you can begin to customize, add materials. There's nothing preventing you from just loading your users and going. And it doesn't all have to be done right away. This can be a process that we take over the next year to slowly get things customized. But usually the implementation time is a common question that I get, which we have the resources to help you with that implementation as well.
That's fantastic. And on average, I would ask, like, how many licenses does someone need to take advantage of the Pinnacle series? Like, if it's just a department that may want training, or maybe it's an entire company, how do y'all look at those different sizes?
Yeah, we might have to get Danny in here to answer that question specifically. Because we have different options depending on the size of your organization. I primarily work post sales, so I I don't know all the options that are available. Um, but is Danny
Yeah, I
in
can
here?
take that for you, Dolly,
Thank you.
sure. So as far as size of company, Dolly's right, we do have different levels at which we offer Pinnacle Series. So if you're a smaller organization, we have what we call a limited license where you can buy Pinnacle Series for the number of users that you need access. If you fall into the range of 30 and above design technology users, and by that I mean Autodesk or Bentley or SolidWorks, for example, and then we consider you in an enterprise account that we'd work with. And in that case, it's a single license for the whole organization, and we base that pricing on the number of design technology users you have. Main difference between a limited license and the enterprise, besides that break in user levels, is with our enterprise solution, you get someone like Dolly as a customer success manager and an implementation manager, whereas at the smaller level, we can't provide that resource, but we do have resources within Pinnacle as well as technical support available for you.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, we don't have any other questions in the chat. Are there any final thoughts, Dolly and Danny, that you want to give us as we close out the webinar today?
Yep, we love the opportunity to work with you all. It's an absolutely phenomenal application. It's not only just a resource for your technical content, your design technology content, but a great resource in terms, as Dolly talked about at the beginning of her presentation, for onboarding employees to make sure you're capturing knowledge within your organization and sharing it out with teams so that everybody's on the same page all the time.
Awesome. Well, looks like this is totally customizable. If you guys are interested, if you want like just a quick meeting to understand how this could help your teams or your business, there is a poll question that says, yeah, let's set a meeting. It's absolutely free. It's a short connect. You could let us know. But we want to thank you all for joining us today. We hope it was meaningful and impactful for you and your businesses. And thank you, Dolly, and thank you, Danny. We do look forward to seeing you all on future webinars. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.